Welcome to the 5th video in our budgeting series. In this video, I want to talk about making a plan and sticking to it. This is also known as the budget video. So this is the time, probably you've been waiting for, where we are going to talk about how to make a budget. And this is so important because if you don't have a budget, then everything else we're talking about isn't really going to matter that much. It's going to be very hard for you to execute all the other steps if you don't have a budget. And so making a budget is a big process. You're going to make your first budget after this video, but you're going to be making budgets for the rest of your life. Congratulations. So let's jump into how to make a budget. First, every expense goes in your budget. It's amazing sometimes when I ask people to make a budget and I don't give them a lot of guidance. In fact, I don't do that anymore because I used to do that. And then people would say, well, here's what my rent cost and here's how much money I spend going out to eat. And that's about it. And then maybe they have gas money. I'm like, well, do you pay utilities at your house? Do you have a car loan? Do you spend money on clothes? Do you go to the doctor? Like, if we're not careful, we will make budgets that don't reflect reality. So make sure that everything you spend goes into your budget, whether that's your groceries, your mortgage, your school loans, car payments, car repairs, car insurance, there's a lot of car related stuff, right? I mean, even licensing for my car, registration and stuff, I prorate that out over 12 months and I put that in my budget. Stuff like the gym, if you have a gym membership, that goes into your budget. If you have Netflix, I know it's like $10 a month, but that's $10 a month. That goes into your budget. Figure out how much money you spend on groceries on average every week or every month, put that in your budget. So, for some of this, you're gonna have to sit down, you're gonna have to look at your bills, you're gonna have to see where your cash goes, and that's gonna be super eye-opening to a lot of you. But everything you spend, whether that's giving to the Lord or whatever it is, all of it goes in the budget. And let me just say, you're not going to have a successful budget until you put like 99% of your monthly expenses into your budget. Because if you can track where your money goes, then you can have a successful budget. Well, there's something else we need to do. Be realistic about your budget. Now, sometimes I see people make budgets and they're just not realistic. Unless you've experienced some real emergency or unless you're just inspired beyond all belief, you're not going to go from eating out every meal to never eating out ever again. Or it's just not realistic to say, we're going to cut our budget by 50%, because maybe you can live that Spartan life for a couple days, but at some point we all kind of fall back onto what we know and what we've done in the past. And so be realistic with your budget. Be honest with your budget. If you make your budget and you don't like what it says, don't just pretend like you're going to magically cut all these things out that you're not going to cut out. Be honest with yourself. If you can be honest with yourself, you can make a real budget. And be realistic about what you spend. I mean, so often people don't write down all the things that they spend. If you have a little habit, then you need to put that in the budget. If you stop for ice cream every other day after work, or I don't know what it is, whatever you spend your money on, you need to put in your budget. If you spend a lot of money on clothes, you better write that down. And maybe you'll say to yourself, I need to spend less money on clothes, but you got to be honest up front. You got to be realistic about how much money you're spending and where it's going. Otherwise, your budget is not going to be really helpful for you. But here's something else to consider. Your budget's a work in progress. You're going to make a budget after this video, but this is not going to be the last budget you make. In fact, I want to encourage you to take 2 budget sheets. Print out 2 budget sheets, or if you're in a class, take 2 budget worksheets, because the first budget worksheet you fill out that's just your first attempt. Because when you go home and when you think about this for a while, if you're married, you compare it with your spouse. In fact, I'd say each of you should make a budget separately and then come together. When you look at the expenses you've each put on there, or when you're real, you look at your expenses online, you go to your online bank statement and you figure out where your money goes, you're probably going to be pretty surprised. In fact, you might be really shocked. And so this is a work in progress. I'm on budget. I redo my budget as often as I need to, right? So if I make more money for some reason, if I get a raise, I redo my budget. If I lose money, I redo my budget. If I have a new expense, I put that into my budget. Just recently, my wife and I started taking our cars to a car wash once a month or so, because our cars are disgusting and we were just both kind of embarrassed by them. And so we're like, and we just go through a cheap car wash, like a drive-through car wash, but we're going to do it every month. And so I'm like, well, I might as well put that in the budget, right? Because that's a new monthly expense. And so whenever something happens, whenever you get a new job or a new kid comes into the house, or you just take on some new expense or you get money from something. Put that into your budget. Your budget is a work in progress. And guess what? You can't just make your budget and leave it alone. You gotta stick with it. You gotta be on top of it. You gotta be looking at it. I'm not a money guy. I'm really not a numbers person, but I do love my budget because when I stick to my budget and when I know what it is, it gives me so much confidence with my money that I really can succeed. There's one other thing I want to say to you about budgets. Follow the budget you make. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to stick to your budget. You can have the greatest budget in the world. You could make a budget that would make an economist weep. Okay, I don't know if economists weep over budgets, but right, you can make the greatest budget in the history of budgets, and if you don't stick to it, that budget is worthless. It's a worthless piece of paper, or it's taking up a worthless amount of memory on your computer because you're not using it. So you need to make a plan and you need to stick to it, right? Stick to your budget. So if you're married, you and your spouse make a budget together. Agree on the budget together. If only one spouse agrees on the budget, it's not going to work. I've experienced it, I've lived it, and I've seen it happen time and time again. If you're single, talk to a friend, talk to a mentor, and say, hey, I'm starting a budget. I need to stick to my budget. Will you pray for me? Will you help me? Will you keep me accountable? If you have a mentor, even share your budget with them just so they can keep you accountable because we need that. There's so many times when I've seen people, they start that budget, they're getting out of debt, and then they kind of ignore the budget and they're right back to where they started. And you don't want that to happen to you. So make a plan, stick to your budget. And here's a verse to encourage you. Proverbs 21:5. Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. I want you to see, once again, there's no quick way to get ahead with money. There's no quick way to get out of debt. There's no quick way to become wealthy. It takes hard work to master your budget. But here's the thing, you can do this. God has shown us a wise way to handle our money. He's shown us how, even as Christians, how to be generous and how to be smart with our money and how to use it in the right way. And so with God's help, with the help of friends and mentors to come alongside of you, you can do this. You can make a budget and stick to it. And you are going to feel so good about your finances once you've made that budget. So I want to encourage you with that. Make a plan and stick to it. And again, you're going to make a budget right now. You're going to sit down and you're going to make a budget. This is only step one. You've got at least another step, but probably a couple more versions of your budget to go before you really land on a workable one. Make a plan, stick to it.